Hey guys, I'm really into technology and AI. As a matter of fact, I, I've got a major and master's in computer science, and I'm really into NVIDIA stock. Now, yeah, I've touched a girl before. Yeah. There's one time there was this girl on YouTube. She sold her bathwater, and then I bought it, and then I drank it. That's right. I drank her bathwater.
Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. Are you a real man or are you a freaking dweeb? And I can tell by the stocks that you love to invest in. Now, there's plenty of stocks out there to buy. There's plenty of good companies to invest in. There's NVIDIA, which is massively mooned. And there's nothing better than buying a stock that went up massively in a vertical line. You're going to make tons of money. Trust me on that one. Or you could be a real man and not a bussy and buy a company that owns strip clubs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have been compensated. I have been paid. I have received the DWEEBS to talk about RCI Holdings or Rick stock. Now, this thing is a meme on the Capital Mindset Forum. I don't know if it's actually a good investment or not. I really haven't looked into it, but we're going to because I was paid to do this. So what is RCI Holdings all about? Is it actually a bunch of strip clubs? Yes, it is. Now, here is me, because I'm not a freaking dweeb, okay? I've actually been to a strip club before. This is the Dollhouse Gentlemen's Club in Killeen, Texas, and I had a blast. And these things are impervious. They are impervious to recessions. You want to know why? Because men like boobies. Oh my God, that's so sexist and that's so misogynist. And oh my God, shut up. They do. Okay, I can attest to that. Unless you go the other way. But anyway, I have personal experience and I love these things. And I would have loved to have gone to another strip club that was of higher quality than Dollhouse. This was this was the best strip club in Killeen, Texas, which was kind of sad because it looks like an absolute dump. So let's go look into Rick. So here's the website, rcihospitality.com. We got a chick here. She's got a wedding ring. I love it. And it's a publicly traded company. So let's read about it. RCI Hospitality Holdings Incorporated own and operate upscale gentlemen's clubs and restaurants. Other activities include websites and a media division. Now, these places are insane. Okay, strip clubs, they just gouge you when you go in there. You go in there, you get drunk, you spend all your cash. You go to the ATM. Even the ATMs there are a massive grift. I remember when I was in Fort Hood, I would go to the ATM to get more cash out. I didn't go there all the time. But when I would go there and get cash out, and the fee would be like $8. That was in 2013, 2014. Everything in these strip clubs is a massive grift, okay? But this thing, Rick's, has been around for a long time. Now, I personally have never been to any of these. And I was looking through all these different brands, these subsidiary brands that they own. Excuse me. I'm trying to see if I recognize any of them. Cheetah, maybe. Chicas Locas. Ooh. Tootsie's Cabaret. Kappa Men's Club. And most importantly, there's this fly floating around. And most importantly, Bombshells, which is apparently like a restaurant thing, a bar and grill. So it's not just strip clubs. It's actually a military-themed. They actually own some military-themed restaurants. Now, of course, Bombshells, they're going to be hot women there, of course. Oh my God, that's so sad. You should have fat, ugly women there. Oh my God, it's 2023. Ew. But anyway, they have this thing too. And I actually enjoy these kind of bars. Look at this. It's pretty nice, man. You can't go wrong. People are going to say, oh, this is misogynist and this is sexist and blah, 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 blah. And you shouldn't objectify women. Okay, men are always going to pay for this. Always. 100% men are going to drop big money, okay? Because nothing makes a man happier than seeing his wife. But if he's single, going to places like this, okay? So this is basically Rick's. It's a bunch of strip clubs, and, they got strip club brands, and they have a restaurant. Bombshells, military themed. So let's read more about the executives. So we have Eric Langan, who's the chairman of the board, director, CEO, and president. And he's been running the company since 1998. Same thing with the director and vice president, Travis Reese, 1999. These guys have been in this business for a long time. They know what they're doing, okay? So that's actually a pretty reassuring thing. Now, obviously, you want to do more research on these guys, but you want management that's been in the business for a while, okay? Because obviously these guys grew Rick's into what it is today. And it's profitable, at least from what I checked. We'll look in more detail. It seems to be doing well. And then they have this guy, Bradley Chahai, who's a CPA, a certified fraud examiner, and a certified information systems auditor. Oh my God. He joined in November 2015 as a controller. Ooh, you got a job opening there, Ricks? But this is the management, okay? They have their Twitters you can go read. And then what else was I going to look at here? So this is basically their website. You can go check it out. I mean, obviously, I would love to go to one of these institutions, but they're probably the clubs here. I haven't even tried to go to them here. They're stupid. Anyway, let's look at the company's fundamentals. Okay, market cap of $687 million. So not a huge company, not a massive company. I believe they have like 40 something locations. It said it somewhere. Like it's not like this massive network, but it's got about 40 locations or something like that. And in a couple large cities around the world. Visit our venue location map. Here we go. Let's see. Strippies. Okay, I'm in Virginia. There's literally not one in Virginia. There's one in, is that Raleigh? Oh, I was in Raleigh, man. I actually visited Raleigh a long time ago. That'd be pretty badass to go to one of those. And if I ever go down there, I'll go check it out. But yeah, I mean, they definitely have a bunch of locations around the United States. You can go look, and if one of you degenerates lives near one of the Rick's places, you can go there and, get grifted and hang out with girls that don't really care about you but want your money. But hey, they make you feel good inside. So, like I said, market cap $687 million, revenue $283 million, net income is positive. That's good. Earnings per share, PE ratio of 16. Honestly, like PE, the more I learn about investing, the less I care about PE. And the less I care about forward PE. You want to know why? Because it's analysts. They're all clowns. It pays a dividend. But it's a very small one. Obviously, dividend clowns wouldn't buy. The yield isn't good, so this is a bad company. Okay, let's see. 52-week range. So it was as low as 46 and as high as 97. It's pretty volatile, bro. Strong buy with a price target of 140. Now, you always hear that like these kind of places do well in recessions. I mean, in my personal opinion, they probably do well at any time of the year. Like desperate dudes are always going to go and spend a lot of money to look at boobies. Okay. Trust me on that one. I know I'm very desperate. So let's look at the stock price. So before the pandemic, it was trading in the 10s or the high teens, low 20s. And then it massively took off during the pandemic, which me as a index fund investor, obviously that means the market knows something that I don't. But to me, like if I was buying an individual stock, these kind of runs like scare me. It's like, did they do an acquisition or is this a cloud stock? Like, why is this up so massively? Let's go look at the financials and see if we can figure it out. Okay. So revenue from 2020 has more than doubled. Okay. I can see why it's up. Well, okay. From 2019, that before the pandemic, it's still up pretty significantly. They've definitely accelerated their revenue in the last couple of years. Let's look at the quarterly revenue growth. So we got revenue that has exploded. Like they've actually done well from the after the pandemic. Like the pandemic didn't destroy their revenue growth at least. So revenue's doing well. Let's look at margins. Gross profit, cost of stripper expense has remained steady, even going up a little bit. Operating margin looks like it's actually gotten better since the pandemic. That's good. Profit margin, chugging along better than it's actually improved since the pandemic. Probably have a stimmy check money. Honestly, a bunch of dudes probably took their stimmy check money and blew it. It's funny. Free cash flow margin has improved, basically, there's a lot of good stuff going on with this company. Let's look at shares outstanding. Share growth has remained stagnant. I mean, it looks like they issue shares and maybe buy a little bit back. Nothing too crazy. So it's definitely a growing business, or at least it has been historically. I mean, even these recent growth numbers are impressive. 12%, 13%, 29%. And they're more diversified. It's not just strip clubs, okay? The balance sheet, we'll look at the 10Q. Cash flows. Cash flow, my ass, no. Look at that. Cash flows exploded since the start of the pandemic. Acquisitions. Okay, well, I can see why their revenue may have grown pretty rapidly. It was acquisitions and hold on. Acquisitions and a couple acquisitions. Dividends, like I said, they have a small dividend. Totally irrelevant. Totally freaking irrelevant. Debt, it looks like they packed on some debt during the pandemic. Makes sense. Yes, overall, I mean, I'm not like blown. I'm not like disgusted by this company. Let's see. Historically, it's trading. I mean, after the pandemic, its PE has been higher than it was before the pandemic, but I mean, it's grown its profits and revenue. Price to sales, definitely above historical averages, but earnings and profits have increased as well. Price to books, it's more expensive, but once again, earnings and profits have increased faster since the pandemic. Debt to equity, looks like they've packed on a little bit more debt, but debt isn't necessarily a bad thing, okay, especially in a low interest rate environment, if you can secure long-term debt. For example, if you get a long-term loan, a 30-year loan with a fixed rate 2.89% mortgage, you're doing okay if you're using that for your business, at least, and you don't do something stupid with it. Quick ratio is actually dropped, but it looks like they were just hoarding cash during the pandemic, which makes sense, but now it's back to historical levels. Current ratio, yeah, I don't see any alarm bells yet, but we'll go look at the balance sheet, the balance sheets in a second. So here's the balance sheet as of March 31st, 2023. So we're going to do comparison to September 30th. So 6 months prior. So cash is down. Receivables are down. Let's see. Inventories are, what is their inventory? Where they have a bunch of women in a closet. That's probably like their food and, you know, the drinks they serve at the strip clubs and the food, like the food and stuff like that. Prepaids, they prepaid a lot of expenses relative to the prior year. So their total current assets are down by about $10 million. Okay, so they've definitely used up some of their liquidity into whatever they spent it on. Property, plant, and equipment is up pretty significantly. So they definitely acquired more strip clubs. They bought probably more. They probably expanded into more of the bombshell restaurants. Let's see. Leases are basically the same. So they're not growing their business by leasing. They're actually buying properties, it looks like. Notes receivable, like I said, no change there. Goodwill has gone up. They've made acquisitions. Intangibles have gone up. Total assets, 621. So the vast majority of their assets are obviously in property, plant. They're a very capital intensive business because they have a bunch of real estate, basically, with a bunch of strippers in it. And intangibles. I wonder what that is. I would love to see what that is, as a matter of fact. So that's their assets. So current assets versus current liabilities. So if we look at it, they actually owe more in current debts than they have in current assets to pay it off. But they're a positive cash flowing business, so they're probably going to be okay. It's like having $41 in your checking account and you owe $52 this year within a year, but you're making money, so you probably can get the money to pay that off. Basically, is what that means. So I don't think they're going to go imminently bankrupt, but they do have less current assets than current liabilities, which would be a bigger concern if they were a cash burning business. Let's see, deferred tax liability, debt. They definitely packed on some debt, but they had an acquisition and they bought property, so that's not the end of the freaking world. Let's see. So at least they have positive equity. So their equity, they issued a little bit of stock about, is this in thousands? Let's see. Let's see. Does it tell us on here? Okay, it's in millions. So they have 9.2 million outstanding. So this is actually the number. This is actually the number of shares. So they issued about 200,000 shares, which they probably use for acquisitions, I'm guessing. All right, so they issued some shares, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if they're using that to buy stuff, especially with their stock price running up like it has. May not be a bad thing. Retained earnings has increased. That means they're profitable. And they have positive equity. So overall, like, they're not underwater with long-term debts. Their current ratio isn't the best, but it's not like life-threatening, and it's pretty in line with their historical amounts. So let's see what their business actually does. How do they make their money? Where's the ATM fees? That's probably the other right here. I'm telling you, those ATMs are a freaking grift, man. So they're an alcohol company. Okay. Actually, a good chunk of their revenue comes from alcohol. Sales of food and merchandise. Wonder what kind of merchandise they sell. That's actually gone down a little bit. Wow. So they have growth in alcohol. They have flat, slightly declining sales of food and merchandise year over year. Service revenues. Wonder what that could be. And other revenues. So overall, they're growing all their segments except for food and merchandise. So Bombshells, I guess, is having trouble. Okay. Let's see. And they have their look at their alcohol margins, man. Oh my God. Woo! Let's calculate their gross profit on alcohol. So they have 30,136 minus 5,365. So they have $24 million of gross profit on alcohol in the 3 months ended March 31st, 2023. So their gross margin on alcohol is 82%. God damn. Woo, baby. I need to start selling alcohol. What am I doing in the YouTube accounting business? Okay, so it's a very high margin. I'm surprised their food margin is actually pretty high too, it looks like. I would imagine food margin would be lower. I don't know if this is like shitty strip club food or if this is referring to their Bombshell restaurant, but that's a pretty high margin for food. Let's see. Salaries have definitely gone up. Selling and admin has gone up. Other charges. What's that? That's interesting. What could that be? Okay. So overall, while their revenue has grown, their expenses have grown faster. And, well, their expenses it looks like they've slightly grown faster. But overall, their income from operations is down. But that's probably mostly due to this other charges, I don't know what that is. We could find out in a little bit. So if they didn't have that other one-time charge, their income from operations would actually be slightly up year over year. So they would have an operating margin of 24%, which is pretty solid. Pretty solid operating margin. I'd rather have a high margin business than a low margin business. All right, interest expense is up, but they have plenty of interest coverage. Obviously they're paying taxes. I mean, overall, there's some, it's growing pretty well. I mean, I'd be a little concerned about the sales of food and merchandise, but it's not the biggest line of their business. They're an alcohol business, okay? I wonder how Bud Light's going to impact this, Wonder how much Bud Light they used to sell. All right. Issuance of okay, so they basically issued stock to buy a business, acquire another business. Okay. Yeah, looks like they use equity financing to buy other businesses, which is fine if your stocks run up massively. It makes total sense. Okay. Let's see. Statement of cash flows. So their cash flows from operations are up. What was that charge? I wonder what that business charge was. Impairment of that. So yeah, there's some kind of asset impairment. Stunk-based compensation. Ooh. That's interesting. They got some stock-based compensation expense now, don't they? It doesn't look like it's super material, but looks like they have given out some stunk-based compensation, which makes sense because the freaking stock prices run up. Okay. Non-cash lease expense. It doesn't say what that charge is. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Doesn't say. That's annoying. All right, let's see what they did with their investing cash flow. So they payments, tangible assets. Okay. So they definitely grow through acquisitions, and they finance those acquisitions by issuing well, recently it's been stock, which makes sense. Yeah, I mean, overall, like, I don't hate this company. I mean, I don't think this thing's going bankrupt anytime soon. I can tell you that. You know, basically, could you make a lot of, could this beat the market? Maybe. I mean, there's some good things going for this company. They've had consistent growth. They are diversified. They're very profitable. They're spread out through a bunch of brands. They have a leadership team that's been there for 20 something years. I mean, in 1999, I was like 10 when these people started this business. They're continuing to acquire other businesses. They seem to be pretty smart with how they're raising capital. They're issuing stock, which makes total sense with their stock price being so much higher. Not the end of the world, but I wonder what that charge is. Yeah, they're buying up clubs, man. They are growing. Look at this. Woo, baby. Let's see. Revenues disaggregated. Okay, here we go. Here's disaggregated revenue. So let's look at nightclubs first. So a good chunk of their alcohol comes from nightclubs. And if you compare it to the prior year, that's grown pretty significantly. But alcohol sales at Bombshells have actually gone down. So that actually sucked it down. That sucked down their revenue growth from alcohol. But the nightclubs more than made up for it, which is good. Okay. So Bombshells sucks at selling alcohol. A bunch of losers. Sale of food. They actually do sell shitty bar food, it looks like. So 60% of the food sales came from Bombshells. So the funny thing is, like, Bombshells doesn't seem to be doing that well. Like, their alcohol revenue dropped, their sale of food and merchandise revenue dropped. That Bombshells thing isn't doing that well. Basically, it's freaking it's the nightclubs holding the Bombshell bags here. Service revenues, that's all from nightclubs. Service. What's the service? It's probably like I don't know. I guess cut. I wonder. I really never learned how they compensate the strippers. Like, I know the strippers get tips, right? Like, does the club keep some of their tips? How does it work? I don't know. It's probably how it works. But yeah, their service. The nightclubs are doing well, man. There's no problem there. Let's see. Yeah, Bombshell sucks ass. I don't know what's going on there. Ad revenue, expo revenue. Oh God. My wife's getting me beer. Let me see. Tell her to see what a good woman she is. She just buys me beer. There we go. Get me that, woman. Okay, let's see what their intangibles are. Licenses, trademarks. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Interesting company. Yeah, I didn't know they had the Bombshells thing. But Bombshell seems to be sucking ass. I need to fix that. Because right now it's just the nightclubs carrying the bags. But yeah, it's not a horrible business. I mean, if you bought that stock, I wouldn't say you're going to go bankrupt. It's better than Tattooed Chef. Let's see. This had to be Julius. I cannot disclose the names, locations, or gender identity of my clients. I get off to Lefebvre scamming me, so I avoid those clubs. They look on. I could see Lefebvre being in the strip club business, man. Like, it's so like grimy and nasty. Like, I could totally see Lefebvre out there pimping out hoes. Oh God, he's shilling. It's not a horrible business, man. Like, it's not. I've been watching Rick for a few years. Just never pulled the. You should have pulled it before the pandemic. You know what I like about it is they don't have a big dividend. Okay, that would scare me because all the dividend clowns would be buying it. And if they cut the dividend, oh my God, the dividend. Let's see. How can he? It really is a strong bit. Like, it's like tobacco. You know, tobacco, highly addictive substance. Like strip clubs, like I wouldn't say they're the worst investments. Okay, strip clubs aren't going anywhere, man. Despite what people think, oh, it's so sexist and misogynist. Yeah, okay. Those girls make good money, I'll tell you that. Fellow truck stop homies love the strip. Imagine the rear Jimmy doing if he owned it. It's too profitable, man. I'm actually surprised that me, Kevin, had his. Yeah, he is kind of a degenerate. I can see him doing a strip club. Let's see. Sexy man, how much for a private? From me? $50. At Dollhouse, it was $20 back in the day. This isn't like 2013, 2014. I don't know what it costs now. Do you love REITs? I love everything at the current share price. Efficient markets, okay? As a matter of fact, there are REITs in VT. I really want to know what those service revenues are, though. What is the service revenue? What services do they provide? Do they own the biker bar where Jeremy does his side hustle? I'm up 120% on this. It's not a clown stock. People think I call everything a clown stock. That's not true. It's just YouTube stocks. Like, because everybody sees the same stocks on YouTube, the same cult stocks. And they're like, why does Strongman not like all these unprofitable clownish stocks? He just thinks every stock's a clown stock. I drank Bud Light for years and my pee-pee fell off. Join me, fellow ex-Bud Light, in a class action. Dude, Bud Light is piss water. I hate it. Does it matter if you buy VT shares on a TD brokerage or... No, there's really no difference. It's VT, bro. That's why I have VT in Fidelity, because you can buy it anywhere. You can buy it on Robinhood. Let's see. Imagine if Jeremy shilled this stock. I wouldn't get on him for it. I don't believe you. I know you paid $50 to pump the stock. I don't think Strongman Personal Finance is gonna pump this company. Pump, get it? But hey, if they want to sponsor me, let me test out some of the clubs. I mean, I'll be more than happy to. Strongman drinks bottleneck Budweisers. Oh my god. Hey Strongman, I have 2 girlfriends now. I don't want to have to take out because I just clap cheeks. So I could spend my extra money on my portfolio thanks to your guidance instead of a BART. You can save a ton of money by not going out. I cannot fathom how much money I spent on alcohol. Like, I would probably have $100,000 more right now if I didn't ever drink. If I was a non-alcoholic, but then I would have missed so many fun times at Dollhouse. Let's see. I promise. I was surprised when Strongman mentioned it at the Capitol. I thought it was you, but I don't know. I know their name, but I'm not going to announce it. Remember, for every person that has multiple pronouns, apparently everybody's batting for the other side. Yeah. Everybody's genderqueer now. Yeah, okay. Rick is overvalued at this point. Cardano is not. Oh my god. Do you still have shares in Alibaba? Yes, I have not sold a single share. But it didn't go up, bro. It didn't go up. Why did you sell it? Diamond hands, baby. I will have my time in the sun. Just like Palantir pumped, Alibaba will pump. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shill my Patreon and my course and my book, and you're all going to buy it because the stock went up. Yeah. Let's see. I think only Jay Nagy sold. Did he sell? Jay. What are you doing a video on Zip Trader? He's such a lame ass. I've been to a couple of their establishments. Are they like higher quality? The ones I went to were hot trash. Like, I've never been to a super nice strip club before. I've been to the best I've been to is like a medium level. And I actually went to one in DC that Hunter Biden went to. It was right next to my hotel. I had to go up there for like a training thing. It was such a weird club. Like, apparently there was a rule where the women had to tape their nipples. So they wouldn't even take their top, like you wouldn't see them topless. I'm like, what? And then they were like, oh, it's $100. I'm like, what? Get out of here. So me and my buddy, we just went in there. We had lunch at a strip club, and they tried to get us to have lap dances. I was like, I'm not paying $100. And then we left. What a scam! You don't even see like full tits. It's like what? What kind of scam is this? I don't think your wife will like you to go. I mean, she can come too. I don't think she would care. Look at Wave after hours. What's Wave doing? This is a Lefebvre victory. 18%. Negative 18%. Oh, it went up 56% today. Wow. What's going on, man? Good stock pick, bro. You should sell a course. Why are you shirtless? Seriously? You're really going to ask me that question? Diamond hesitant. He works for Rick. Opinions on Tom Nash's new course that he's selling his Discord. They need to be dedicated and ready to pay up. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't recommend you buy his course, especially at the price that he's probably going to be charging for it. It's like anybody else's course. I mean, I have a course. It's basically teaching you the financial statements. It's $175. But you buy it or you can't. I don't really care. But I can tell you, most people's courses are way more expensive, and they provide less value. I'm my wife, man. That's the only woman I have eyes for. Let's see. Colorado has a couple of Rick spots. There's literally not one Rick in Virginia. That's really upsetting. I've been to a blue collar one, BYOB. Ooh. Honestly, like, I think a good thing, like, if we ever had like a meetup with Capital Mindset, like we all met somewhere, we'd have to do it at a Rick's. That'd be a fun night. I would go nuts. Trashy strip clubs, $5. Oh, God. Oh. Never heard of Bombshell. Yeah, that business sucks, too. They can't even grow their revenue, my avenue. Have you stopped consuming tobacco? I have. I quit like 3 or 4 months ago. Glad to have found your channel. Welcome, good sir. Please put on a shirt. Look, dude, you don't understand. This is my thing. I don't wear a shirt. Okay? I've been doing this for like 2 years. I'm not putting a shirt on now. They are everywhere here in Dallas. Woo, baby. All right, well, that's it. This is a paid video. If you want a paid video, you can send me money, $50, and I will make you a dedicated video. And I will entertain you like you've never been entertained before. I will. Is it worth $50 to go to the strip club or to give it to me? Who would you rather give $50 to? Tanisha or whatever, Brandy or Star, or would you rather give $50 to Strongman? That's right. You give me $50. Okay, I'll put it into VTA. I'll put it to good use. That's right. You give me $50, I'll make you a personalized video. When will you talk about Palantir? There's nothing to talk about. Whenever the earnings come out, I talk about it. But I'm not gonna talk about Palantir every day like these scammers do. Okay? What is there to talk about? Like, wait till the next earnings and then talk about the earnings. Palantir. I stopped going to strip clubs in my 20s. I did both. I put money in my TSP and I went to strip clubs. You can always do both. U.S. of interest rates. Where do you see that? Dude, I have no idea. I don't even try to guess that crap. All right. We'll do a Lefebvre outro. Let's see. Let's do the truck stop one. Why not?
Holy smoke, is this ain't no joke, as I was literally about to go to bed.
Oh my word, look at that!
Wow, do we have a lot to get into here today.
Woo! Woo! Woo!